All right, what is going on, guys? We've got 14 MLB games tomorrow, opening day, beautiful day. Let's get into this slate, get you guys on your way. All I ask, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you know when videos are posted. So we're going to go higher volume in terms of plays. It's opening day. We're going to have a little fun, but for the most part, we're going to do half unit plays. So we're going to ease into the season, but a little higher volume just because it's opening day and let's have some fun. So let's get into our first game here. So we've got the Brewers and the Yankees. Carlos Rodon pitching for the Yankees, the lefty going up against Freddie. Where's the ball going to go? Peralta. You never really know what you're going to get with Peralta. I will say on the road, not as good as at home. Peralta was 11-9 last year, gave up an opposing average of 221, going up against Carlos Rodon, who went 16-9 last year, opponent average of 235. So obviously, we're going to have to go off some last season statistics here. But if we look at Rodon, throws primarily fastballs, which doesn't necessarily bode well. Last year we saw the Brew Crew really be able to hit lefties, specifically lefties that threw fastballs. So not a good look there. His next pitch he throws is a slider. Now he should see some success with that slider, and then he follows it up with a changeup. Brew Crew like the changeup. Now on the other side of the ball, we've got Freddie Peralta. Again, Freddie, similar to Carlos, primarily a fastball guy, right? Throws about 54% of his pitches are fastballs. Then he mixes in a slider and a changeup. Every once in a while, a curveball. I don't think we really know what we're going to get out of this Yankees team yet. Last year, they were kind of middle of the road in all those areas. Obviously, we got some new pieces and things have shifted. Ultimately, though, Yankees at home. Give me the Yankees in this one. Do I like them -1.5? Not necessarily. I kind of have a lean towards that over 8, though. But those are my plays in that game. All right, next game, we've got the Orioles and the Blue Jays. We see the Orioles slight favorites on the road in Toronto. Jose Berrios on the mound for the Blue Jays. Jose Berrios had a pretty good season, 16-11. We really saw him shine away from Toronto. That's really where he found success last year. At home, wasn't nearly as good. Zach Eflin going for the Orioles. Righty went 10-9 last year, had a 253 opposing average. So did really see some regression in terms of his pitching a little bit. Eflin's a guy you're not really going to tag hard, though. If we look at the last 30 days of last season, had a 36% hard hit percentage. That's very good. Average ex-velo of 88. So really good. Jose Berrios on the other side, 42% hard hit percentage. So not a great look there. I think I don't love the pitch splits here for Eflin. He is a fastball cutter guy. So roughly 65% of his pitches are going to be a fastball or a cutter. Then he throws in a curveball and then a slider. Every once in a while, he throws in a changeup. But pitch splits just aren't good to me for this one. I think Toronto is able to get to him. So I do have a lean towards Blue Jays money line in this game at home to take the opener. So moving on to the next game, we've got the Red Sox and the Rangers. Garrett Crochet making his debut for the Sox. Lefty went 6-12 last year. I think you kind of have to ignore that, right? Given the team he was on. I'm not going to look too much into that win-loss record. So he should be a little unleashed this year. We saw him towards the end. Once we knew he was going to get traded, they started shutting him down. Going up against Nathan Eovaldi. Eovaldi at home last year was really good. He went 12-8. ERA of 3.8. Very similar to Crochet, actually. Crochet's ERA was 3.58. Now, where we see the big difference is in the strikeout percentage. Crochet struck out 35% of the batters he faced last year. Eovaldi, a hair under 25, so 24.1. Crochet is going to bring you a mix of a fastball and a cutter. That's going to comprise the majority of his pitches. That's going to be about 80% of what he throws. And then he'll throw in a little slider and a changeup every once in a while. But this guy's primarily just beat you with movement and his fastball. Now, if we look at Eovaldi on the other half, he's more of a junk ball guy. He's going to throw a kind of a split sinker about 30% of the time. He's going to throw a curveball. Now, from what I've been reading, it sounds like his last start in spring training was pretty good. Said he felt like he had command of all of his pitches. Things were moving the way he wanted them to move. So, where do we go in this game with the Rangers? Dogs at home? I kind of want to go with the Rangers a little bit, but I don't know if I necessarily trust it. I would go with the over 7.5. I think Crochet, if we did see the last kind of month, right? If you were playing the Nerfies with Crochet at the end of last year, you were highly disappointed because last 4 out of 5, I believe, he gave up a run in the first inning. So I do like some runs today. Give me the over 7.5 in this contest. Next game, Phillies and the Washington Nationals. Will the Nationals be good? I don't know. Kind of thought about taking their futures bet 70 plus wins, but did not pull the trigger on that. But I could see that hitting. Let's see. So we got Zach Wheeler on the mound for Phillies. Zach Wheeler had an outstanding season last year. Opponent average of 193, ERA of 2.57, going up against the lefty Mackenzie Gore. Mackenzie 10-12 last year, pretty subpar year. ERA just south of 4. Strikeout percentage about 24%. Wheeler hovering right around 28%. I'll tell you what he did do pretty well was hard hit percentage. He kept it under 38%. I will tell you Zach Wheeler kept it under 34%. So two guys that aren't going to pitch to a ton of hard contact here. But for me, Mackenzie Gore, his pitch split's going to primarily be a fastball. He is going to throw a slider and a curveball at a fairly decent clip. It's going to be about 35% of his pitches are going to be some type of, breaking ball here. And then he'll throw a changeup about 10% of the time. So it is not a bad mix against this Phillies team. If we look at last year, the Phillies kind of towards the end of the year, they did struggle with the slider and changeup from lefties, but they did thrive on the curveball. They absolutely demolished curveballs from lefties, and they were kind of middle of the road in the fastball. If we look at the Washington Nationals, Wheeler throws about 60% of his pitches are going to be fastballs, and then he throws a lot of pitches after that. He throws a cutter, kind of a split sinker, a slider, a curveball. So he mixes it up really well. That's how he keeps the contact off so much. And he should have a really good matchup here against the Nationals team last year that struggled. No major pieces I see that's going to help push them over the edge here. So no reason not to take the Phillies. One play that I was going to put on the card, but I didn't. Phillies first 5 minus half a run. Get that at minus 115 currently on DraftKings. I still like that play. If you're looking for a parlay piece, Phillies first 5 is always a good thing. We'll have to see about that bullpen. I do have some question marks about the bullpen, but I do trust Zach Wheeler here to get the job done. All right. We're going to go a little bit faster. This video will take all day. Let's get into my personal favorite game of the day. Actually, let's talk about the Guardians game first. I'm a Reds fan. Put that out there right now. Cleveland and the Royals. So Tanner Bibee going up against Cole Ragans. Ragans a lefty. Tanner Bibee's a righty. Bibee in the end of last season didn't blow me away, I'll tell you that. Finished the year 12-8. Ragans 11-9. Both players fairly similar, 3.47 ERA for Bibee, 3.14 for Ragans. I think the pitching matchup favors Cleveland. I do like runs in this context, though. So one of the plays I do have is Kansas City Royals team total over 3.5. So I do like that one. But in terms of full game, I do lean towards the over 7.5, and I lean towards Guardians money line. So that is where I'm at with that game. Kick it back to my favorite game of the day, the game I'll be watching, the Giants and the Reds. Full disclosure, big Reds fan, so there is inherently a bias there. I'm not going to lie. Logan Webb going up against Hunter Green. Hunter Green, if he stays healthy, I think he had a strong chance to be in Cy Young contention. Had an ERA of 3, went 9-5 last year, opposing average of 182. Logan Webb made the All-Star game, and then after that, he just absolutely regressed like crazy. And I don't even know if I call it regression. His expected ERA was 4.22, finished the season at 3.47. So really still under his X. Still under his expected ERA, still under his expected FIP. Doesn't strike out a lot of guys. Now, that said, we know the Reds were very prone to strikeouts last year. This guy strikes out about 21% of the time. He gets strikeouts. Hunter Green, 28% of the time. Now, what Logan Webb doesn't do is he doesn't walk people. Gives up about a 6% walk rate, but he gives up a lot of hard contact. If we look at last year, 46% hard hit percentage. That was one of the worst in Major League Baseball. Really had a bad split against lefties. Did okay against righties. We look at Hunter Green. His issue was lefties. Struggled a little bit against lefties, but absolutely dominated righties. So I like Hunter Green today and the Reds. a decent amount of bets I've got in this one. One of the things I didn't like is Hunter Green, 6.5 Ks. I think that's a little too heavy first outing of the year. So I did grab that at plus money yesterday, and I grabbed Logan Webb under 5.5 Ks. That line might be different now, but that's where I got it at, and we'll see if it's still there. Pirates. Damn, these games are all out of order from what I had, so we're going to have to do a little bit of moving and shaking here to find the games in the correct order. Okay. Angels, blah, 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 blah. Well, okay, Pirates and the Marlins, so Paul Skeens Day. That one should be fun. Going up against Sandy Alcantara. Didn't pitch last year, so we don't have a lot of data on him. You know, from what I could tell, a lot of movement on his pitches. Really plus movement guy. Velo, not bad. I don't know what it's looking like now, but he was right around 95, 96, would touch 97. So should see something good out of him. Skeens developing another pitch should be pretty nasty. From what I could see of it, it looked pretty dirty. So I like Pirates to get the job done in this one. I don't know if I want to go -1.5, but I'm not expecting a lot out of this Marlins team this year. Over under of 6.5, I would lean towards the over in that one. I think in Miami, ball should be flying. I don't think Skeens goes perfect. So I would lean towards the over in that one. Okay. All right, let's see. Next game, we've got Angels and the White Sox. How will the White Sox do this year? I've got a pretty good guess on how they're going to do, and it's not good. Yusei Kikuchi going up against Sean Burke. Sean Burke last year was decent, right? We got a limited sample size, but 2-0, 1.42 ERA, strikeout percentage of 28. So if you did happen to snatch his over 4.5 Ks, probably got some good CLV on that one. Going up against Kikuchi, went 9-10 last year, ERA of 4.05. Kikuchi was kind of a tale of two teams, really. When he started with the Blue Jays, not great. And then kind of towards the All-Stars break, started pitching better, went to the Stros, and then started pitching really well. So I think there's some good here. I think he should find some success. I think both pitchers will find success today against some fairly bad teams. That said, the Angels definitely made more moves to upgrade their teams in the offseason. I would lean towards the under 8 in this one in the windy Chicago area where temperatures are not going to be overly warm. So I do like the under 8 here. All right, Braves. Oh, damn it. Stupid. Okay, Braves and the Padres. I ended up skipping that one. My bad. Chris Sale going up against Michael King. That's a stout pitching matchup here. Chris Sale, your reigning Cy Young, 2.38 ERA last year, 18-3, going up against Michael King, 13-9 with a 2.95 ERA. So two guys that did really well. I will tell you their pitch splits definitely oppose one another. So I think both teams should be able to get some runs in play here. I do like the over 7 in this contest. I would lean towards Padres money line in this game. All right, let's move on to the Twins and the Cardinals. That should be a pretty good game, actually. Decent pitching matchups anyway. All right, so for the Twins, we got Pablo Lopez going, and we got Sonny Gray on the other side of the mound. A little concerned about offense in this one. I will say the pitch splits definitely favor the Cardinals. Twins, we saw them struggle against righties at the end of last season. No significant upgrades in terms of their roster. I think Sonny Gray at home is able to get the job done. Give me the Cardinals on the money line, -110. Lean towards the under 7.5 in this game. I don't think there's going to be a ton of offense in this. Could be wrong, but I do like Cardinals over the over-under. All right, really good pitching matchup here. We've got the Tigers and the Dodgers. Tariq Skubal going up against Blake Snell. Tariq 18-4. Absolute wonderful season last year, 2.39 ERA. Blake Snell had a great season. Started out rough, and I'm a little concerned backing him too hard early in the season, just because I think we may see something similar this year, where he kind of struggles with his command, but his strikeout rate through the roof, 35%. That's why we see a strikeout line of 7.5, and I honestly think he probably goes over that line. And Skubal, 30% K rate. We see in terms of the walks, that's the only thing that really concerns me with Snell, especially early in the season, taking a 7.5 line against a guy that historically kind of gets off to a slow start. So I don't necessarily know if I want to back him in this spot. per se. If anything, I mean, it's a pretty simple bet. I think Mookie's going to play. Should see Freddie Freeman. No reason not to take Dodgers -1.5. Once you get past Skubal, it's downhill from there. And if you want to compare bullpens to bullpens and offense to offense, there's just no reason not to take the Dodgers run line here, or Dodgers -1, something like that. That'll be on my card tomorrow at some point. Didn't put it on the official card, but I do like that play there. All right, next game. We've got two more games here. Actually, we got one more. Cubs and the Diamondbacks. Actually, no, we've got two more. Anyway, Cubs and the Diamondbacks, Justin Steele, Zach Gallen. Justin Steele, the lefty, going up against Zach Gallen, the righty. Wasn't overly impressed with Gallen last year. He just kind of had ups and downs last year. He started off really well, found a rough patch in the middle, kind of closed okay. Going up against Justin Steele, pretty consistent guy. He's got a 3 ERA. Zach Gallen, 3.65 ERA. You know, nothing crazy here. I will tell you the pitch splits do favor. If we watched the Diamondbacks last season against lefties, torched them. Absolutely torched lefties at home. So I would say going Diamondbacks here, I'm not paying -140. Maybe look at a Diamondbacks team total over, something like that. But really, what I saw from the Cubs in that Tokyo series was terrible. So I can't get behind this Cubs team right now. So give me the Diamondbacks in this one, -140. Next game, we've got the Athletics and the Mariners. I don't know where they're at on here. Did I just completely pass them? Yahoo took them off of here or whatever. Luis Severino going up against Logan Gilbert. Logan Gilbert, very good season last year. The win-loss record, not really indicative of how he pitched. Went 9-12, but opposing average was 198. Luis Severino pitched very, very good as well last season. Had about a 4 ERA. Logan Gilbert's 3 ERA. Gilbert had a couple of rough patches there in some games where he gave up a lot of runs, but overall pitched a outstanding season. No reason, in my opinion, to take the Athletics here. They're going to be a god-awful team this year. So this is a Mariners, and we do have an official play on the under 7. So I do like a very low-scoring affair. So we'll talk about the Rockies-Rays game tomorrow. Let's get you guys the best bets and get you on your way. So first play, we're going to take the Reds first 5, -120. Yeah, this is a homer play, but I love the matchup. Give me Hunter Green. Looked outstanding last year. I think this Reds lineup's going to be better than most people expect. They've got McClain back. Obviously, you've got Ellie De La Cruz in the lineup, so a lot of good talent. Steer in there. I do think the Reds at home. This is a major day. If you're a Cincinnatian, it should be a national holiday for us here in the area, but it's not. But the Reds usually show up. So give me the Reds to get the job done. I'm just trusting Hunter Green, more importantly. And then Logan Webb under 5.5 Ks. It's just too many. I understand the Reds strike out, a decent clip. But I think this is a team that's matured a little bit from last year. Should see some better contact. And Logan Webb's he's not that guy to go out and get like 6 or 7 Ks. Next play is going to be Garrett Crochet, race to 3 Ks, -110. He's pitching first, so obviously they're the visitors. So he'll get first crack at this. Who's to say he just doesn't come in and strike out the side? It's just, I think the wrong side's favored. Crochet gets first dibs, and he's a strikeout guy. So I love this play. Almost took it for like 2 units. I'm like, nope, we're doing half units. Hunter Green under 6.5 Ks at plus money on DK. Like I said, Green, good strikeout guy. I just don't think he goes long enough to get 7 Ks. Athletics Mariners under 7. Just Athletics are going to be god-awful this year. And I think Mariners' offensive woes aren't just going to all of a sudden improve. And we should see some decent pitching. So ultimately, give me the under 7. Mackenzie Gore under 5.5 Ks for the Washington Nats. Now, he could definitely get this, right? We've seen guys like Kyle Schwarber just get the old golden sombrero right away, but I don't think he goes long enough here. I think he probably goes less than 5 innings. He does go deep into counts. So, worst case, he goes 5. He's got to strike out over a person an inning, which would be better than what he did last season. Next play, Royals team total over 3.5. I think this will be a high-scoring affair between Bybee and Reagans. So give me Kansas City -125 to get 4 runs. And then last play, we're going to do Mets, Astros, Nerfy. So I think this is a pretty good spot here. Clay Holmes and Framber Valdez, which I don't think we actually talked about that game. I think this is a really good Nerfy spot in my opinion. So that's how I am going to play that one. If we look at Clay Holmes, obviously he was a little erratic last year. for New York. But he didn't really walk a ton of people, relative to innings. So I think he'll get the job done in the first. And then Framber Valdez has been quite nice in the first. So good value there. So those are the plays, guys. I appreciate you tuning in. I'm stoked for baseball season to get cranking here. Let's get off to a hot start here. Hopefully get back a couple of units. We are down just a little bit from the Tokyo series, nothing major. Yeah, let's get back into it. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure you guys turn notifications on. Join the Discord if you guys want other plays that are going to be posted. And I'll catch you in the next video.